and ladies and gentlemen, we are still, as a community, reeling at what transpired earlier today, where Microsoft decided that it was a good idea to raise Xbox Game Pass Ultimate by $10. Creating a 3-tier system, changing some names, adding a few things they thought were valuable, which I am going to push back on because I don't find them valuable. And it's one of those rake stepping moments that gave me the same feeling this afternoon when we were talking about it, all the way back to 2013, where good old Donnie D stepped on it, all right, and told everybody that if you didn't want to be online all the time, we got a console for you, and it's called the Xbox 360. And obviously, we know how that generation went. Now, is it that bad? Well, I mean, depending on who you ask. I mean, I'm not an alarmist, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not going to lead by emotion. I have a lot of additional thoughts and theories. Xbox Game Pass for PC has gone up a little bit. It's still one of the best deals, and it ultimately seems like Xbox is pushing people towards PC because, again, you're not paying for online. We'll get into the actual price structure of it all and what you get for that price. But the $30 a month is what I believe to be egregious. I think it is asking a lot of your consumer base to swallow. And I think ultimately it's just bad optics. It just really is bad optics. It's the wrong time in the way the world is right now, and everything continues to skyrocket in price. Seeing a service that was considered one of the most valuable and consumer-friendly services in gaming be upped the ante. Now, granted, I know there's going to be some pushback for some people in the chat. It's like, well, boom, you don't have to have the $30. Listen, I'm not talking for myself. I'm paid up until October 3rd of 28, folks. I'm good. That's not the point, though. You see, I'm a guy that can also see the forest from the trees. And so if we just pause and we ask, okay, so it's $30 on October 1st of 2025, right? What's coming out for the remainder of the year? A couple of really big games. Call of Duty Black Ops 7, being one of them. The Outer Worlds 2. You also have Ninja Gaiden 4. You also have a Double Fine's game. And I'm sure there's going to be a few more entries into Xbox Game Pass before December is over. So you're getting a lot for the remainder of the year. If you just take a moment and just forecast 2026, that's a different conversation. We're going to have that conversation. So again, folks, yes, we're going to get pointed. We might even get a little emotional, but we're going to talk about what happened today. And ultimately, I have a lot of thoughts and theories that I did not, invoke on the original podcast from the breaking news that I thought about. There were some questions as to, is Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, the top tier going to be, were they going to force PC players into that tier? No, the PC players has their own tier. It's $16.50. Not breaking the bank, certainly no $30, but it's about a $4 increase, $4 and change increase. But, I'm going to go to Hargeet first on this. Hargeet, look, there are going to be people that you talk to that suggest this increase is just it's a bad look. But ultimately for them, for the individual person, they're going to say, you know what, boom, it still works for me. Like Korkenstein, for instance. Now, Korkenstein is a guy that plays a lot of games. And he uses Xbox Game Pass to find games that he would normally never play because it's in his service of choice. So for him, even though he's not a fan of the $10 increase, he's acceptant of it. Like, okay, it's just $10. I'm going to move on. I'm going to play more than what it would cost me for this service, which is $360 a year. If you buy 5.5 games or 6 games, it equates to that about $380. So if you're someone that buys more, would have bought more than those 6 games, the service is definitely for you. I put myself off to the side because I'm paid up until October 3rd of 2028. So I'm good. And I do that because every time, and I said this before, maybe we're going to get some new listeners that never, tuned in. How I keep it at 36 months is every time 3 months drop off and I get to the 33-month mark, I re-up another three block. So it keeps me at 36, and you can then go look for deals. Specifically, shout out to Will the Broke Boy Insider. If you go to Amazon right now, they still have the 3-month card at $60. So if you were looking to stack and you didn't want to pay the $90 that they're going to be asking for, you can go to Amazon. Shout out to Will for that.
And many other retailers, by the way. A lot of them still have the old cards. You can still just get them. I just picked up today for 198, 12 months. So it comes out to about 16 and change per month.
Nice.
So you can still buy them. So I have enough like in my bank to cover me through 2030 at way lower than even $20.
Wow.
So I'm good for a while. I don't really care about the price increases because I do what you do. I just keep them stored. I get the deals, then I keep them stored. So go do that. Like, absolutely go. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. Like, stack up. Just get, like, if you can find deals. There's still, if you go to deals.gg, there's plenty available. Is it gg.deals? gg.deals, right? And then you can go to, like, the retail stores and just pay normal price for what it was at $20. You can still get it. So, just stack it up, keep it up, keep like your current price if you want to for a while. But anyways, you want me to get into it?
Yeah, no, please, by all means, because again, one of the things that at least jumps off the page for me, and I said it this afternoon, is you make an announcement like this. What you are hoping that comes along with this announcement is not Fortnite Club, because no one cares. Maybe somebody's going to care. I personally don't care. Any of the PC MOBA games, I could care less. I've never played one. I'm never going to play one. So them talking about, oh, well, this, you get this is a great deal. I could care less. What I care about is games, and games that are going to go for console, and that's what I'm going to play. But one of the things that remain absent, and I think it is a great, way to kind of look at this deal altogether, is if they give you this $30 price point, and for instance, like they would have included Ubisoft Plus, not classics. Now we're talking something a lot different. Not a bit different, a lot different. And here's why. I pay for Ubisoft Plus every month. I have it on a card. It charges and it goes. Do I use Ubisoft Plus every month? I don't. Right? I really don't. But there have been months where, I've used it for 3 or 4 months in a row. And the great thing about Ubisoft Plus is that you get all of the DLC, you get all the expansions, everything. It's in there. You just download it. It's awesome. Now, originally when it wasn't really clear what was happening, that was one of the things that someone dropped in my lap, and I said, well, wait a second. If it's Ubisoft Plus, then that's great because that's going to save me $10. And I'm going to take the other $10 and put it into Game Pass. Not so bad. But what they added was Ubisoft Classics. Nobody really cares about those games. Those games are old, man. I'm sorry. No one's playing those games. No one's playing Ghost Recon.
It's like EA, right?
Yeah.
It's like EA. You don't get EA Play Pro, you get EA Play.
Right.
So it's a kind of similar thing. If you're okay waiting, which, by the way, for me, that's fine. I'm okay waiting.
Yeah, well, you have a backlog the size of 10 humans, so.
Exactly, right? So, look, I'll start with the first thing that people just ignore. You know why this really went up? It ain't the Ubisoft Classics and all that. It's because Cloud is now live. You are paying for Cloud. I have been warning you guys. Cloud is expensive. It's expensive. Up to now, Satya has been footing the bill. He's not footing the bill anymore. You guys are paying. This is why it went up this much. You guys are going to now pay for that Cloud. Okay? So enjoy that. Enjoy the Cloud. Right? I've been saying I don't want it. Get rid of it. I don't care. I don't use it. I don't want to pay for this. So make it separate. But they're not going to do that. They're bundling it in. You're going to pay $10 extra because Cloud is live. That's why you're paying $10 extra. It ain't about the Ubisoft Classics. It's about the Cloud. Okay? Cloud is bloody expensive.
Yeah.
It's bloody expensive. This is why you're paying. Okay? So the reason it went up, Cloud is live now. And all the tiers have it. And you get to pay. That's why there's a premium tier, and there's a normal tier, and there's you can have the little tier, right? That's just how all of them do it, right? There's the like you don't have to pay for it tier, where you get to play at the lowest level and good luck, and then you pay for it a little bit, and then you pay for the premium. This is what they're doing. So you're paying for cloud. That's literally what this is. Okay, so on top of that, you get a little bit of a benefit. Ubisoft Classics, the stuff they put into PSN, like was it 2-3 years ago? Whenever they decided to upgrade that.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
So that exclusivity is now gone, and now they're like able to actually negotiate a deal. And there you go, you got that. They added in this Fortnite thing. I don't know how much that's really relevant to the majority of
$12 a month
Pass.
if you were to get it through Epic. It's $11.99.
No, I understand it costs money. Okay. The question is, how many of us would care? Right?
Nobody.
I'm sure there's some of us who use Game Pass who would care, and that's fine. That's totally fair. Irrelevant to me. I don't play Fortnite at all. I would say that the cross section of people who play Fortnite and play a ton of different games is probably not that high.
Right.
But
I agree.
There's got to be some, right? And for some, it's going to be great. Awesome. Just like Riot Games, right? They put that into Game Pass, right? So there's a cross section of people who might care about that. And then there's the majority of Game Pass players. Like I was literally, Boom, you weren't there. I was in the crowd when they announced that deal in Game Pass in like 22 or 21 or what?
Yeah,
it was a while ago, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was in the crowd in the Fan Fest, and and I was the only one who said, "Wow." Literally the only one who said anything when they announced that. Nobody cared. Nobody. But it's a big deal if you think about it from the perspective of value. It's like $1,800, $2,000 worth of value you get if you play that game. It's like, that's great for the 10 people who cared, right? So I don't know how big the Fortnite thing is. Ubisoft Classics, it's cool. I gotta say, it's cool. It eliminates me having to buy Ubisoft because I don't care. I don't have FOMO. I do not have FOMO. I'm good with waiting. I'm happy to just wait. The same thing I do with EA Battlefield. That trailer for the campaign didn't exactly make me say, "Whippy, I gotta play that day one." It's like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I don't care. I'll wait. It's fine. So I'm happy to just use my Game Pass for that. So that did nothing for me. Now, on top of that, they did do another thing that's interesting, is they came out and said 75 plus day one games. That's a market increase. Now, I don't know what that means. Is that all like, $10 indie games? Okay, that's some value. Cool. Are they going to go after bigger things? Because we just had, the Tokyo Game Show, and the thing that was missing for me was that Wu Chang or something like that you show like, a AA effort that comes in Game Pass day one, right? I didn't see that, right? The Kunitsugamis or they had those before, right? There was Wolong. It's like they didn't show anything like that, right? They had all sorts of games that were sort of play anywhere, and they're marketing them great, but I didn't see that Game Pass drop. So it seems like they're going in the opposite direction, where I'm not getting like that kind of game, but they're promising 75 plus every year. I will have to wait and see what that really means, right? Yeah. So my first reaction was like everybody else's. What the F are you doing? $30? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That is a massive increase. It's like a gut punch. I'm like, what? Okay, you might say, okay, went up $2 or something, right? Like the $30? Like, what are you doing? But then, okay, fine. I like calm down. All right, like what is the offer here? I don't know if you watched the video. They actually put out a video of like, this is changing Game Pass to add these features, right? They're adding capabilities in each one of these tiers. They're changing them to give you more capability. And I'll point out that the other reason they're kind of doing this, the whole idea of play anywhere, if you want to take your catalog with you, a lot of the games are from the big publishers. The big publishers are Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft. Of course, there's a couple of other big ones, but a lot of those games tend to come into Game Pass. So, it's like, okay, if Microsoft were to try to give you a way to take the majority of games you care about and say, you can go from your ROG Ally to your console, well, just go to the Ultimate tier and look, you've got all the entitlements, right? That's kind of what they're trying to fix with this, right? To say, you got that catalog now. So the majority of the big games, well, you kind of have them. So it may miss some, fair enough, but the amount of overlap here will be pretty big, right? So maybe 70%, 80% of the games you want, you know what, you got it, right? There might be some indies here and there that are missing. Okay, fair enough. How big of a cost is it to buy that on Steam or to buy it on, on Epic or something like that? You can go find that out, right? And see, oh, it's only $3. Okay, I'll just buy it, right? Whatever, fine, right? That's what they're trying to fix here, right? If there were an equivalent one for Capcom or Bandai or something like that, I'm sure they would put that in there too. But that's kind of the reason, right? So now I still think it's crazy. Like, I don't want to pay for cloud. I'll just be very frank. I'd rather keep it at 20, take your cloud and shove it. I don't make that a separate add-on. I don't care. I don't want it. I'll keep my $20. That's where I want to keep it. And they still have this stupid online pay thing, which really needs to just go away if you're going to merge into Windows next gen. But we'll see what they do, right? So if that's going to continue, that's pathetic. But whatever. PC Game Pass is looking better and better. It does not include Ubisoft yet, at least. But like, if they just made that like $16.50 with Ubisoft, that's very tempting. And then you just kind of walk away from console, unfortunately. But look, as I said, I am paid through 2030, right? So I don't have a problem with this because I'm not paying $30. Right, I've paid way less. I've been getting it like $10-12 a month for a long time, right? And recently it's something like $15-16 a month. It's like, okay, that it's still reasonable. So I'm paying way less. But I can see people coming in saying $30. Why? Right? So look, there is value, but they have yet to show it. And that's the problem, right? If they had just done TGS and dropped 10 games into Game Pass, this wouldn't sting as much because you'd be saying, oh, okay, that's where they're getting those 75 plus games. Where are those 75 plus games? Yeah. So you're saying that, but I don't see any evidence of that. So if you're going to show me the 75, and maybe that's what they should have done, is say, by the way, we're dropping all these day one games over the next 6 months. Something along those lines would help to say, all right, I get it. Okay, I'm getting a lot more now. Fair enough. I'd love to see a AAA effort go in day and date. Third party. Obviously, first party, all those are going in. We know that, right?
Right.
But a third party AAA game, a la Outriders, something like that, right? Bring it in. Let's do a day and date third party and like start showing that you're going to give me more value, right? Unless you're doing that, it really just seems like you're just increasing the price. And for those who don't use, like me, I don't care about the cloud at all.
Right.
I don't want to pay for it. I just don't care. $20 was still pretty high. So at $20, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. All right, I'll deal with it. $30, I would have been okay with like 21, 22. It's fine. $30? Are you kidding me? So, right. So, but then again, I'm like, if I take a deep breath, what are they doing here? Fine. So I get what they're trying to go after, but honestly, it's really just cloud, and I'm just sick of it. I do not want to pay for this. I don't want to pay for it. So I don't think that's going to change. I don't know that they're going to debundle it. I know people are unsubscribing like hell. If you go to their site, it's just crashing. People are unsubscribing. Yes. So will that change their mind? I have no idea. In the world we're in, where they increase the console prices twice in like 4 months.
Yes.
I don't think they're going back. This is just the world we're in. It's sad. Is it still a good value? I have to agree. It still is a good value. Fair enough. It is still a good value. So I don't want to pile on them. Yes, it's still a good value. And you don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. You can just go buy the games if you want to buy them, whatever platform you're on. It's okay. If that's your path, that's your path. If you like the value, get it. If you don't worry about it. And if you like the middle tier, you know what? If you don't have FOMO, it's not bad. You get everything but COD. You're getting it a year later. Fine. At least you get it. It's not the end of the world. But if you have FOMO, you want that ultimate tier, it's gonna cost too much now. I don't know, like, what happens when they go to 50? Because
what I wanted to say, you know what? Before I actually, because there were a couple of points. One of them, like, it's a segue topic. There's two of them. It's the future forecast, 2026 and beyond. And we're going to get into that. We're also going to get into how many people are actually they've crashed this site for canceling. So before we actually get to those, because those are two pretty big stories I want to get into and get the chat and get you guys your thoughts on it. Asante, you and I were talking today, and we both did the moment, right? Like it's just one of those things where, again, some people will say, well, Boom, why do you care so much? You know why I care, folks? Because I'm one of you. The only difference is I have a podcast. That doesn't make me any better at all. And I'm here. I'm a fixture in the Xbox community. And the one thing I will never do is be a bootlicker. I'm never going to roll over for the man. I don't care what Microsoft gives me. Yes, I feel privileged that I'm invited to things. I feel privileged that they flown me out to play Indiana Jones. I've never had that happen in my entire life, which is why I was politically correct and I was a gentleman, because you don't want to burn bridges. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, what happened today is horseshit on every level possible. And shout out to Aries_EMS, who said a $5 increase, I should say, would have been something that we would have been chomping at the bit, but we would have been like, okay, I understand it. You get those $2 and $3 increases for your Netflix and for your Disney Plus and for ESPN and Hulu. I get all of that. But to go from 20 to 10 is a 50% increase. And that's gonna listen, folks. I know for some people, like it's only $10, Boom. So what? You know what? That $10 might be for somebody in this chat that's afraid to say that it's for them. That might be too much for them. Because not everybody has money. Not everybody doesn't live paycheck to paycheck. So we got to stop being small-minded about that kind of thing. We got to think about the people, right? That's what this is all about. That's why I do what I do, because I have you guys and gals in mind, and you're always on my mind, which is exactly what I do. But okay, Sante, let's get your thoughts on this, man. This is it's just another bonehead move by Xbox. I'm sorry, no other way to put it.
So honestly,
you seem a little bit dejected, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to be absolutely honest with you, this whole thing has left me very, very disappointed. It's super disappointing because, to me, it's not necessarily even the price increase necessarily that's my problem, because we all know that this happens, right? All these subscription services will always increase their prices. We know this. This is what's going to happen. It is a fact, right? It's just usually subscription services respect their consumers enough to give you that frog in a boiling pot sensation, right? Where you don't increase it too much, just a little bit, every 6 months we increase it by a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. So in a few years, you look back and it's far further than it was when you started. That is understandable, right? What bothers me about all of this is they went full bore, one shot, and they were just almost brazen in you don't like it, too bad. And I really feel like the sentiment behind that is troubling, right? Either troubling from the perspective of the folks that so far have been doing so well as far as garnering customer support, right? It feels like they've changed things. There's that. Or maybe there's a difference in their business model and how they feel about Game Pass, right? Because if you do this, which you've done, you're basically almost assuredly splitting your consumer base, right? Because not everyone's going to be cool with this. Not everyone's going to be able to handle this. Some people just can't and will fall off. And you're saying that's okay, right? And my question is, why is that okay now? You spent a lot of time cultivating these individuals, making sure that they understood that this is the service for them, the greatest deal in gaming and all that. And instead of slowly, incrementally increasing, you just smack people across the back with some very different, I'd say bad increases, right? In this, it's just very disappointing to me. Now, I do understand some of the moves being made here. I get it. Right, I get why they're doing that, and I understand what you're saying, Hargeet, about not wanting to pay for cloud. For those who've been complaining forever and a day that their cloud sucks as compared to GeForce Now, this is why. right? Because GeForce Now uses actual server blades. XCloud has never used server blades. They've used Xboxes in the cloud. Now they're using server blades. Guess what? Server blades cost money.
Yeah.
Right. The time to use them, and the funny thing about that is, it's not just that they cost money, obscure money. No, they cost money, and every moment of their use has time, has finances attached to it. Because if you're not using it to do this, you're using it for another customer, and every moment of its existence brings back some kind of revenue, right? So if for a moment you gamers are complaining that your cloud experience is not great, and now you want it to be like GeForce Now, they can make it like GeForce Now, but now someone's got to pay for that time, right? It doesn't just become GeForce Now overnight and then it's still the same exact price as it was before. No, now it's like GeForce Now, meaning it's far more performant. It's able to do more, but that also means they're using server blades to do it. And if you're not paying for it, who else will? So it increases the price. It's kind of wild, you know. Honestly, like Hargeet, you put it out there pretty well. I agree by and large that once you remove the emotion from it, some of it makes sense. Actually, a lot of it makes sense. I was talking to Boom a couple days ago, and honestly, the day that they changed the price of the console was the day that I knew that it was over, because the price of those consoles changing was nothing to do with tariffs these days. It's not a tariff play at all. I feel like it's more for it to be in line with their new business model, which is not to subsidize, right? And if you're not subsidizing, why are we continue? Even one more customer that buys this thing at a cheaper price is one more customer that's on our books as basically costing us money, right? Yeah. So why even bother at this point, right? So honestly, for me, I'm at a point now where I'm very disappointed, because I was hoping that they would, do not the right thing. This is all business at the end of the day. I was hoping that they would at least do what's like best for them and most advantageous for all of us, right? Because the better they act in this way, the more we continue to flock to their services. And now, I hate to say it, I was talking to you, Boo, a couple of days ago about this, Boom. At this point, I'm at the place where I'm like, I sent him his ROG Ally. He now has his ROG Ally. It also has the new UI and all of that. Now it might be time to start getting used to Steam and other things. The Steam Autumn sale is upon us, and there are some deals to be had, because clearly Microsoft doesn't seem to care about keeping their customers happy. It is what it is.
Gentlemen, what I kind of want to do is kind of forecast for the chat and for, of course, the panel members, my concern, right? So today, the entire community. Now, granted, there are some people like Ecstasies. There are people that I spoken to behind the scenes. Like, Mag always has good information. There are a few others that I talk to behind the scenes that I would not give the names, because, Mag is out there, and so is, Hazardor Gaming. He gets a lot of good information. Shinobi 602 is another one. These are people that I personally lean on for information, because they're really good at their job, right? They're really good at providing great information. And we kind of knew something was happening, but I honestly didn't think it was going to be a Game Pass, increase. What I thought was actually going to happen is what's missing from the scenario, and that is all of the Activision back catalog that we were promised. Right? We're talking now. Granted, now tomorrow at noon, I'm sitting down with Umbra, and we're going to be going over the rumored prototype remake that's currently potentially being developed as we speak. I got some information from April, got some new information from the other day. That looks like that's happening. If, as a matter of fact, it's going to be as good, potentially be even better than Oblivion was, and that's really saying something. So we're going to break that down. But one of the things missing, at least for me, is, and your mileage is going to vary, folks. Some people are going to be like, well, Boom, I really don't play old games. Listen, I hear you, man. If you don't play old games because you're inundated with new games, you're not going to get me to fight you. But like, I'm a Guitar Hero guy. As a matter of fact, my new Gibson with the blueberry cover came in today. Right? It's for the Xbox Series consoles. I mean, am I going into Fortnite to play that? No, I'd rather not, to be honest with you. But I'm probably going to have to make sure the thing works. So my point is, and apologies for being long-winded, is one of the things that I thought was the thing happening was you're going to get this onslaught of backwards compatible titles into your service that they've promised us, right? That could have been the Wolverine Origins, that could have been the Spider-Man games that by Beanox, that could have been the Transformer games, the Cybertron games, because remember, just the other day something happened with them on Steam. They were relisted, so we all thought, oh, wait a second, they're going to drop those 2 games in the Game Pass. This is great because those Cybertron games are dope. And then obviously this prototype, and there's Singularity is another really phenomenal game that no one really played. These are everything that I thought would be coming to the service, or at least be here. What about the Call of Duty catalog? Right? I know that we got new Call of Duties coming up. I know I play Black Ops like a crack fiend, and I know I can't wait to play the beta over the weekend. But there are a bunch of other games that have not made it in the Game Pass. So I think that, they raised the price, but where are these games? Where are all because they promised these games. And one of the series that I really want backwards compatible, and I know I'm probably never going to get it, which is why I went out and bought an Xbox 360, a new refurb. I bought an Xbox 360e, which I didn't even know freaking existed. It looks like the Xbox One, except it's a 360. It's really cool looking. I'm going to do an unboxing on it. But I did that because I don't want to use my Star Wars one, but I want to play Guitar Hero. I own every Guitar Hero game in the series. Same thing for Rock Band. And they're sitting in storage, which I'd like to bring them here and actually use them. So, that would have been a really nice additive. And then you tell me, well, it's $30 because we're paying for licenses. Maybe you don't get as much pushback from me. But what they added for that $30 is not value for me. And maybe it's value for you. And that's great if it is. But this is where I kind of want to point your eyes, folks. So we wake up to this ridiculous notion that Game Pass is going up 50%, right? Because that is how everyone is incorporating what happened. Not $10. Every article is Game Pass went up 50%. And you know something? I said this to Kay and Hargeet in the green room. The games media and the anti-Xbox community, the POSs of the interwebs that we don't name here, like Voldemort, right? Those POSs were waiting for something like this. And you know what? And did you know what Xbox did? They rang the effing dinner bell. Ding, 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 ding. Come and get us. Let's go. Come on, let's go. More bad news. Let's go. And that's what's going to continue to happen. No matter what happens for the rest of the year, no matter what they show, this is going to be the thorn in the side. So I point your attention, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I'm not an alarmist. I'm just throwing this out there for some thought and theory. Today, October 1st, it went up $10. And they told you, oh, we're giving you value, which, by the way, I saw that video. The video was egregious. It's romper room time video. That's what that is. That's what that is ridiculous, right? So let's talk about 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Right? What is happening? Well, everything is happening in 2026 for Xbox. It is the 25th anniversary of the brand. It is the 25th anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved, Master Chief Cortana. It is the 20th anniversary of Gears. I believe it's the 20th or the 25th anniversary of Crash. Right? There's a lot going on. And next year, without even trying to use your imagination on what's coming out next year, I got 5 for you right off the clip. You got Gears, Halo, Forza, the pillars that hold up the Xbox brand, right? Then you have Modern Warfare 4, and then you have Fable. And if you want to get real funny, you can throw in Clockwork Revolution because I believe that's next year as well. So there are your 6. Those are 6 AAA bombs, ladies and gentlemen. That's not counting. And again, let's just use their numbers, Hargeet. They said 75 plus games in the service day and date. Well, here's 6 of them. 6 AAA bombs in the service. So my question to you is, what comes out usually in November? Oh, that's right. That's usually Call of Duty. What's coming out next year? The more serious Call of Duty, return to form Call of Duty, destructible environments Call of Duty in Modern Warfare 4. Who's to say, ladies and gentlemen, that they don't get tricky and raise it to $40 next October 1st? Because what's going to stop them from doing that? You know what's going to stop them? Bringing down their website to cancel Game Pass. That's what's going to do it. Hargeet, you want to elaborate on that at all? Because again, it's a thought, it's a theory, it's just looking into the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the cost structure is going to be as we move forward. Unfortunately, things are in a weird state. It's, we're seeing, what was it? Ghost of Yotai is not even, was it $60 million budget? That is a very low amount, right?
Yes.
Now, normally, every time I'm talking about what is AA, what is AAA, oh, it has to be over 100 million budget. And so is that a AA game? I don't think it is. Is Ghost of Yotai, isn't that a AAA game?
I would say it's AAA. Yeah.
If we're okay with that, that means that it is possible that these game prices can come down as far as the budgets. That would be a good thing from one perspective, right? So that does allow them to add more stuff without increasing the cost. However, here's the big problem. This isn't up to just Phil. There is a, Microsoft push to generate Microsoft level profits from this division. And sadly, that's it's not very good for us if that's what they're looking to do. The beauty of what Phil was trying to do was to say, I'm going to compete in the market such that I give you more value than my competitor. And well, they did that for a while. And, that was at the expense of higher profit levels. As it turned out, they actually weren't doing too badly. But they were doing, what they would normally expect for that small division at Microsoft, who they didn't care about. Whatever, just make some money for us. It's fine. Now they're number, 2, 3, something like that in the corporate, structure of amount of revenue. Once you hit that level, there's much, much, much more scrutiny. And unfortunately for them, they're at Microsoft, and Microsoft is used to those enterprise contracts. And those enterprise contracts are very, 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 very lucrative. They make very high margins. And they're like, why aren't you making high margins? You make software. I'm not realizing this is a consumer business. And in consumer business, you don't get those nice enterprise fat checks. So this is unfortunately where they are. Okay. So can I guarantee that it's not going to go up? I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up in January. Here's a Dev Direct. The week before it went up to 35. This is unfortunately just where we are. I don't know the answer to that. It could go up at any time. They increased the freaking console prices twice in 4 or 5 months. It wasn't. I don't even think it was 6 months. How the hell do you pull that off? Seriously. This is just, it's the weird market we're in. And I can say, hey, it's just Xbox. No, the other side's doing it too. You're like, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Oh, wait, Xbox did the same thing. What are these guys doing? Copying the worst possible things to do from each other. It's crazy. And of all things, you have, Nintendo coming out and say, oh, we want to charge you $80 for our games. We think that they're worth it. Well, what? Are you kidding me? Come on. This is the insanity of all this. I don't know what the answer is going to be. Boom, and you're totally right. Next year, they could say it's 40.
Yeah.
So then the question becomes, okay, are you okay at 40? I don't know. Here, what if they said, you know what, it's EA Play Pro and Ubisoft Plus, the whole thing, but it's $40. Would you pay that?
Well, that's a different story because you're getting EA games and you're getting Ubisoft games day and date.
All day and date. So look, these are all question marks that they have to go answer, right? Obviously, they're going to have to analyze the data of what happens here. They must have expected an amount of people to say, F you, we're not paying that, right? And they're going to just unsubscribe. They must have expected that. Question is this going to hit the targets they want? Is this going to go beyond the targets they want? Or is this going to not matter at all? Like a whole bunch of people are going to be emotional about it, unsubscribe, and then realize, but October has like a ton of games coming out. They're all in Game Pass. I want to play these games. I don't want to pay full price for this. Okay, I'll pay. Here's your $30. And like, so like we will see, right? Because ultimately, if you wanted to play even 2 of those games, you're paying way more than $30. It's just the way it is, right? And like Call of Duty's coming in November. Are you going to pay that? Like what's up? Again, it's up to you. It's up to you. You choose your path. You figure out how you want to go with this. For some people, it's going to be I subscribe for a couple of months and play my games, and I'm done. And that's fine. Totally fair. That's fine. If you don't want to pay like every for the full year, you don't have to. All right. And if you want to like pay for the full year because you get a lot of value out of it, that's great too. But I know a lot of people emotionally will say I'm unsubscribing, and then we'll have to see if that value is there or not. Right. And look, I think they need to provide that 75 plus games. If come up Dev Direct, they're like, oh, here's like 12 new games that are going into Game Pass day and date. How many people are going to say no? We will see, right? Because like 75 games is a lot of games every month. That's a lot of games have to come in every month, right? And that's not going to be first party. They're not going to release 75 first party games. So even if they do 20, which is more than this year, which was an insane year, they're not going to be able to. They have to put in a lot of third party games. Whether a lot of that's indie or not, AA, I don't know. We will find out. But that promise needs to be met. So if it is valuable enough, it becomes okay if it increases because the value is there. But that's on them. They have to show it. Right now, I don't see it. I don't even see 30. I just don't see it. So until they can prove that, I'm not even sure 30 is a good number. Yeah. So if they go beyond that, you have to start questioning, what are you doing? Because like, look, at some point, now as I said, I'm done through 2030. I have my ultimate till 2030, all the way through 2030. So I don't have to worry about this for a long time. But that doesn't mean the average gamer sits there and says, well, I have to pay for this. I'm not going to do it. And how many are going to switch to PC? Which, by the way, they're happy to have you go over to PC, apparently. So whatever. Yeah. And this might be the answer, is that you just go to the PC version and say, all right, I'm going to go the cheaper route, and I don't want all these extra benefits. I don't care. You still get EA. You should get all the day and dates. That's all there. So PC Game Pass 1650 sounds pretty good. And so you go down that path and you won't have Ubisoft, but that's up to you. If you want Ubisoft Classics, go pay. What is it, $8 a month? You could do that, or you can pay for Ubisoft Plus, the whole thing, right? I think it's like $20. But I actually got a good deal with that one. They offered a deal.
You tell me they had a sale for it for the year.
Yeah, it was like $100 a year, and I'm like, heck yeah, I'll just do that. $100 for the whole year. That's like one game. I get the whole thing for the whole year. Why not? So that's a fantastic deal. So again, you can find whatever you want, and again, there's so many cheap deals available on PC side.
You have to go hunting for them, and again, you don't have to be Professor Clouseau. You could literally just go and do an average search.
Steam has a lot of deals all the time, or you could go to like deals.gg.deals. GG.deals, I always get those reversed, but GG.deals. Or just go to CD Keys or something like that. But GG.deals has like all the stuff like aggregated for you,
and they're legit.
And you can find the cheapest price, right? So go get it. But look, I think this is going to become more of a value question for people as they move forward. I don't know when Project Magnus comes out. If it does come out next year and it's more PC-like, you could see a lot of people start pushing in that direction and say, well, gee, I don't need, because look, that means you don't even need Game Pass all the time because you don't need the online. The online goes away. That's a beauty of being on PC. You're not paying for online. Whereas on this side, I'm going to get rid of Game Pass. You're not paying for online anymore. Just think about that. You have to pay for that like online tier, and you can't have both. So you can't have core, and then sometimes you have to pay for Ultimate, and that's what you got. Or you get rid of Ultimate, and you have to pay for core, or now what is it called? Essential? Whatever it is. You have to have that level to be able to play online. Right. So you are kind of screwed when it comes to the console. You have to pick your tier, and that's where you are. Whereas on PC, it doesn't matter. You're not paying for online. If there's a whole bunch of games coming in October for Game Pass, subscribe for 1 month. Play your games. You're out. Done. You don't have to worry about it. If you like Ubisoft games for a month, subscribe. Done. You don't pay for the online, so it takes away a whole bunch of headache for you. So it's much easier to start going in that direction. And it looks like Microsoft's pushing you in that direction. And that's on them. Like this was insane to see without any actual explanation. Like this needed a lot more behind it to say these are the reasons. This is the benefit we're giving you. If you're gonna say 75 plus games, I want to see 20 of those games. Show me, right? And don't say first party. I already know the first party. I want to see the 23rd party games. What are you showing me? TGS showed me you didn't care. That's what I saw. I didn't see anything new. Like, what is this? So I'm looking for what that is. To me, I'm kind of annoyed, but I'm like, okay, I kind of understand the direction. That doesn't mean I like it. I don't like it. Now, thankfully, I've paid much, much less, and I'm good for a while.
Yeah.
But I can't recommend it to somebody unless it's like, do you play a lot of variety of games? Maybe it's worth it for you. If you play 3 games a year, it is not worth it for you.
It's not worth it for you.
Games.
Correct. Yeah.
Just go buy your games.
Yep.
So it's just the way it is. When it was like $10, it's like, oh yeah, this is way worth it. When it was 15, it's like, well, it's kind of worth it.
Yeah. And
now
when
it's like
20,
even at 20, I'm like, man, do you play a lot of games at 30? I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just getting crazy. Now it's a good deal if you like a lot of games. But if you don't care about Ninja Gaiden, if you don't care about Keeper, right? If those aren't like that's the problem, right? If you only are resonating with like 3 or 4 games a year, you might just say, I'll just buy the games, especially if you're merged with the Steam store and those games are like $40, $50 brand new. You don't even pay the 70, right? You're like, why do I need to do this? Like, I just don't see the point. And this is where their value proposition has to get better. That's on them. That's a problem they're creating for themselves. So we will see where this goes. There is the middle tier. If you're not, if you don't have FOMO, you don't need a day and date, you will get a lot of stuff in that middle tier. So that is still an option for a lot of people. You have to consider it as a consumer, but it is a pretty annoying slap in the face after you increase the price of the console. You just massively increase the cost of the service. Like, okay. So I don't know. It could very well happen, Boom. It could very well happen. It's not an invalid fear. We see these prices go up all the time. So is it possible next year it's $35, $40? It's possible. I think to their detriment, though, it's getting pretty ridiculous.
It is. You know, Kay, before we get into the cancellations broke the internet conversation, because we're going to get into that. We're going to catch up on Super Chats, folks. Don't worry, I'm going to get Super Chats right after Kay. But Kay, I think one of the things that normally goes first in situations like this is trust. Trust is something that is incredibly important to me as a man. My word, even more so. And I understand the business, folks. I'm not going to be the emotional gamer and start, ranting and raving. I understand the business, but then why don't they understand the business? Because a move like this, like Hargeet literally just said seconds ago, feels like a slap into the face, and not to the trolls, listen, folks, you're going to get hundreds, if not thousands of fake people trying to get your attention about how they canceled Xbox Game Pass when they never even had it. We know who they are. You know the POSs of social media that you stay away from. You know the POSs that always end up in Dirt's video, right? You know who they are by name. But we don't have to, pay any mind to them, put them on the pay no mind list. But this is a situation where now I have concern, because the messaging with Xbox is and has always been their Achilles heel. Their messaging is as poor. And again, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. The person or persons team that are making these 6-figure decisions and putting out ridiculous things like in the chart for, well, if you pay the $30, you're in, rich person. We'll get you into the velvet rope. $10 person, your speeds are going to be varied. You're around the corner waiting, right? Middle tier, you get to at least see the velvet rope from across the street, but you're not going to get there because, well, speeds are going to vary. But if you have $30, well, I got a velvet rope for you. And that's pretty egregious. And it literally is written like that, which is unbelievable. And again, just looking, if we're going to forecast what has happened in 25, which is, and I've said this before, and I'm probably going to end the year thinking this, one of the best years in Xbox Game Pass content ever. There's not even an argument there, folks. It is literally the best year for Xbox Game Pass content. And if this year was that good, next year is going to be doubly good. Does that mean that they double the price? Do they raise it $5, $10, $15? Because again, just off the clip, we know 6 AAA bombs, not counting the other 69 plus games that they said are going to be in their day and date. It's an interesting thought. What do you think, man?
Look, honestly, it's a sad. I can't stop saying it. It's just a sad state, right? Like, do you think that do we think that this is the beginning of their price increases? It better not be, even though I know it's gonna be, right? Because like we said before, it's one thing if this month, 6 months, maybe $2-3 increase. A couple months later, 6 months later, another couple dollar increase. So eventually, you get to the $30, whether that be the next generation or mid-gen somewhere else. But it incrementally rises to meet what the consumer expects. But to raise it that quick, that much, now has people with the side eye out, right? Now it has people making those decisions, having to make those decisions. I was talking, Hargeet was saying, and you were saying as well, and I completely agree. You know, a lot of those games that come to Game Pass, I'm a gamer who likes to buy my game. So while I enjoy using Game Pass, and I've always enjoyed using Game Pass, I end up using Game Pass itself as a supplementary because I buy the games that I end up owning, right? So like, you know, the games that I've been playing right now, Silk Song and the like, I own those copies in addition to having it on Game Pass, right? So if and when this situation presents itself, it'll end up being that Game Pass will lose out. It will, because honestly, like, the reason why I keep PlayStation Plus, the reason why I keep Game Pass is because it helps supplementally fulfill some of the requirements that my kids have. You know, I'm not spending all day going through the catalog trying to find games that the kids will play, right? But in Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, there's a lot there, right? But if you're doing this and we're having an expectation that every X amount of months it'll increase exponentially, yeah, now I may be the one that goes, well, go ahead and tell me which game you want to buy and I'll pay for it, rather than just keep a Game Pass going. Like, believe it or not, I have Game Pass, I have PlayStation Plus Premium, I have Apple Arcade, I have all of them, because my kids, I want to be able to have my kids be able to be dynamic and play games they want to play without me having to, you know, be the gatekeeper in that way. But as prices rise, I will tell you, and I said this before, this will lead to piracy. This will lead to there's a lot of badness about to happen. I'm almost more convinced now than ever, and shout out to BV, the Black Viking. He was in our Discord today talking about it. I am now more convinced that more than ever that GTA 6 will be $100, and that'll be just for the entry level price, because that's just the world we live in right now. It is what it is. It sucks, but you know, hopefully us yelling and fighting the good fight will get them to change their minds, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.